Good morning, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make my rosemary water blend. You have probably heard me mention this in a couple of my past videos, and this is the water that I use on my hair. Rosemary and mint and thyme and cloves are all supposed to be very beneficial for your hair, for hair growth, for hair strengthening, preventing breakage, that sort of thing. So today I'm going to show you how I make that. So that is why we are actually here in my kitchen today. First, let me show you all the ingredients that I typically use. And I actually went to the store and bought everything, so it's not just rosemary. But obviously, I've got my cloves. I just use whole cloves. And I have my little steeper because I don't like to have them just floating, so I like to use one of these little like steeper net ball things. I've got my thyme. I've got my things of rosemary. I'm not gonna actually use all of this. I just have one that is a little bit older, and then I might take a sprig or two from the new one. And then I use mint. And then of course you're going to need your water. I have about, thank you Nero. I have about 2 cups of water with me. I might add another 2 cups. Anything left over, which is just gonna get stored in the fridge anyway. And then of course you need a pot. I've got my cute sage green Dutch oven that I'm gonna be using today, but just use any pot that you have available. So the first thing I'm gonna do is obviously pour the water in and get that boiling. First thing in, I'm gonna do some water, and then I'm actually gonna grab 2 more cups. Alrighty, now let's get that boiling. Okay, so for the cloves, I've got it in the little steeper steel ball. I don't actually have a whole ton. It's filled about halfway on the bottom, and that's usually about how much I use. For the cloves, since they can take a little bit to steep, I'm actually just gonna hang this on the side and let this kind of hang out while the water boils. Alright, now that we've got it kind of boiling, I'm just gonna take the last like 3 or so sprigs. So that was like 3 small ones and then just these little tiny doohickeys. I'm gonna throw those bad boys in, and then I think I might take 1 out of this package, 1 extra one from the new package. And then next, I'm going to add in mint. I'm just gonna add the whole thing because I don't really use mint for much else, so I'm just gonna add that whole thing in there. Same with this thyme. I'm gonna add pretty much all of it because I don't really use it for much else, at least not this week I'm not. I'm gonna let this sit and kind of boil here for like 10-15 minutes, and then we'll come back. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
Feels like something's burning.
It's rosemary, thyme, and cloves.
Got the frickin'
It's my hair water.
carbon monoxide kill us in
It's
here.
my hair tea. It's tea for my hair.
You're gonna make a recipe to frickin' make people pass out. Watch.
Yeah.
Turn some ventilation on.
It's herbs, you weirdo. I'm gonna add a little water though. What? Alexa, off. Alright, so now I'm just gonna turn this off, and I'm just gonna let it sit and cool. You can see it's all nice and brown, and grab a fork here. Got some nice tea going on here, some nice hair tea. So I'm not gonna take everything out. I'm actually gonna leave it until the entire pot cools down, because I can't pour it into my bottles until it cools down anyway, because it'll just melt. That's literally it. So just boil all the herbs you want for like 10-15 minutes, turn off the heat, let it completely cool down, and then you can take all the herbs out and pour it into whatever jars or bottles that you decide to store everything in. And then I just use this after washing my hair, so I'll use this to add the water to my hair, and then I'll add my leave-in, or when I'm refreshing my hair, I'll use this to add hydration to my hair. But again, it has a little bit something extra than just plain water. It's got all the benefits of the herbs for hair growth and hair strength. But I also ended up using 6 cups total. So I start off with 2, then I'll add a few more cups depending on how much I want to make. It's not an exact science for me. It just depends on how much I want to make in general. You can add more herbs, you can add less herbs, you can just do the rosemary or rosemary plus one other thing. It's all up to your preference and what your hair is looking for. And then also, if you feel like it's really concentrated, you can dilute it. So add some to a bottle, fill the rest up with water. You can stretch this out as much as you need to. Again, depending on how concentrated you want it to be for your hair. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments. I'll make sure to try and answer as many of those for you as I can. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Keep blooming, and I'll see you guys in my next video.